Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here on the channel. My name is TannerFishies. In today's video, we are going to be discussing a few bits of recent Ninjago news that we should probably go over, including a new update surrounding Morro, and of course some new updates brought to us by Ninjago series head writer Doc Wyatt over on Blue Sky. Like I've been saying, he has just answered a ton of questions over on Blue Sky. It's hard not to talk about what he says, and in today's video, the subject matter includes, again, a new Morrow update, some updates surrounding the Forge of the Forgotten in the Underworld, a possible motive for Lord Rass's plan in Dragon's Rising Season 4, and a quick answer about Lloyd in the Tournament of the Sources. Like I said, lots of topics here. Let's start with the Morrow update. So this isn't anything super major, but we did get a new look at Morrow just in general for Ninjago Dragon's Rising. Again, nothing new in terms of his design or his weapon or anything like that, but it is a new official render of this character from the animation studio, so I guess that's nice, you know? It's a good update, I suppose, if you wanted a new picture of Morrow in his Dragon's Rising design. Now, I have seen some people ask if this was for Dragon's Rising Season 4. I don't believe so, just because, again, Morrow is completely unchanged here from his Season 3 design. Chances are this is just for Season 3, alongside several other character renders that we received for Dragon's Rising Season 3. So again, probably not for Season 4. However, again, it is a new look at Morrow, so hooray for new looks at Morrow, I suppose. Next up, let's start talking about the Doc Wyatt answers. Starting with this statement related to the Forge of the Forgotten, someone asks, did Garmadon know about the Forge of the Forgotten when he ruled in the Underworld? And did the first Spinjitzu master help create the Tournament of the Sources with the Fengshin family? To which Doc Wyatt replies, the Forge wasn't a secret, and no. So no on the idea that the first Spinjitzu master helped to create the Tournament of the Sources. Makes sense there, but the Forge wasn't a secret in the Underworld when Garmadon was ruling, so does that mean that Garmadon attempted to use it at some point? I'm not sure how he would, considering that Garmadon was banished to the Underworld, like, strictly. He could not go to the surface and gather someone to put in the Forge if he really wanted to. However, his skeleton army could have totally done that for him, so it's not clear why he never used it, aside from, well, obviously it did not exist at the time of writing the original Ninjago pilots, and he probably didn't need to. Again, not sure what use the Source Dragon icons would have been to Garmadon. Maybe they would have assisted in his task, maybe they would not have, it's hard to say. Again, the dragon icons, that's more of a Lord Rass goal, not so much a Garmadon goal. So it could have just been a case of, well, Garmadon just chose not to use it because he did not need to use it. It did not apply to his goals. But speaking of Lord Rass, we also have this question. If Lord Rass is in the Monastery of Gates, which is outside the City of Temples, does that mean he's going to free his wolf warriors and Cinder from their imprisonment, now that Thunderfang and the Forbidden Five are gone, along with the ninjas scattered in different realms? Doc Wyatt replies, I'm not confirming or denying this. Rass has plans, but I won't be the one to reveal them. Yeah, so we've talked about that idea in the past, the idea that Lord Rass, because he is in the City of Temples, he could totally free Cinder and his wolf clan, ultimately regaining at least some of the army that he had in Dragon's Rising Season 2, and in a way, I could totally see him doing that, but also not doing that. I don't think Lord Rass would free Cinder and the wolf clan out of the goodness of his heart, for example. He doesn't care about these people on a personal level, but if he can use them, I mean, he absolutely would try to use them. He has led them before, who's to say he can't lead them again? And I would love to see Cinder back personally. I've talked about that a lot in past videos, but Cinder is a character that desperately needs a lot more attention than he's given. Would totally love it if Cinder was actually in Dragon's Rising Season 4 as a part of the new Lord Rass army. However, again, Lord Rass has 2 dragon icons now. Does he really need help from an army? He's pretty powerful on his own, just given what he has so far. And considering all of his past failures with allying himself with people, would not be surprised if in Season 4, he's just there by himself, just doing his own thing. Again, answering to no one, leading no one, just existing as an individual. So I could see this going either way. Either way, Doc Wyatt cannot confirm or deny, so let the speculation run wild. What exactly do you guys think? And finally here, for a final update, we just have a quick answer surrounding Lloyd in the Tournament of the Sources. So someone asks a plethora of questions, one of which is question number 2. Why did Lloyd's eyes not become black after he lost his powers during the Tournament of the Sources? To which Doc Wyatt replies, residual energy. So yeah, obviously that was a very big complaint for whatever reason during Dragon's Rising Season 2. A lot of people were wondering, hey, how come Lloyd's eyes did not turn black after he lost his powers, considering that Lloyd's eyes being green is a direct result of his elemental powers. And you might not know that, but that was explained in the could-be canon Ninjago novel Way of the Departed. Lloyd was training so hard in his elemental power after Wu went missing in time that his elemental power literally began to bleed from his eyes, if that makes sense. So obviously Lloyd's powers being gone, like we saw in Ninjago Hunted, would lead to his eyes becoming the normal black. Because his powers are gone, his powers are non-existent, they are not at the same level that they were when his eyes turned green. However, Dragon's Rising Season 2 did not address this, apparently because of residual energy, meaning that Lloyd still had at least some level of power in his body after his power was taken. I could totally see that being the case, considering that, again, the Source Tournament was all about, again, taking powers and giving them to other masters to use in future battles. However, I can't imagine that the power would be completely gone altogether. If anything, again, it's more of like a temporary thing, but the power would still hold some type of weight in the person's body if it was removed like it was in Season 2. Now, obviously, this is just a case of the animators did not think of it, so obviously Doc Wyatt is going to have to come up with some kind of solution. It's one of those things that doesn't really matter, but for some reason people get really hung up on it, you know? So naturally, residual energy, sure, makes sense to me. I definitely do not see how that would not work in the context of Dragon's Rising Season 2. But with that being said, everybody, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Again, just talking about some recent answers brought to us by Ninjago series head writer Doc Wyatt. What exactly do you guys think of everything that we talked about in today's video, including the new look at Morro, Lord Rass's plans for the City of Temples, the Forge of the Forgotten in the context of Garmadon, and of course, Lloyd's green eyes. Especially, again, the Morrow render. I personally don't think it means much of anything, but I'm curious if you guys think this means that Morrow has a higher chance of coming back in Dragon's Rising Season 4. I think he totally could, but again, it's just a render, nothing too crazy. What exactly do you think about all of this? Thank you so much for tuning in. Leave all of your thoughts down below, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Peace.